All right, here we go. Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David, I got a big problem.
Let's go on down. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the plane's still rocking. You must have come near a weather balloon. Don't shoot it down. All right, Bruce. There is many unhappy fans on the internet tonight, and there's two kind of unhappy fans here as well. The Oilers blow a 4-1 lead and 5-4 in the shootout to the New York Rangers. We will do our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast. What is your? Let's start with the good things, Bruce. Let's try to start with some good thing.
Yeah, I will go with the 2-0 goal for the Oilers scored by Tyson Barrie on what I saw as a tremendous 5-man virtuous cycle in the offensive zone with all of Barrie, his partner Brett Kulak, and the forward line of Ryan McLeod with Matthias Janmark and Warren Foegele. And they had they made two great thrusts on net. They had the puck in Rangers zone for 30 seconds leading to the goal. I went through the whole sequence 3 or 4 times, and the first cycle ended with some very good work by Foegele along the sidewall to dump it to Janmark behind the net, and he made a crisp pass out in front to Ryan McLeod, who seemed to have Igor Shesterkin at his mercy, only to lob the puck right over the crossbar. And thankfully, it didn't go out of play, and it stayed in play. And Rangers tried to break it out on their defensive right wing, and Kulak aggressively came up the boards to win the puck in the pinch. He got it down to Janmark in the corner. Both McLeod and Foegele went to the front of the net, and Janmark made a second crisp pass in a row that he sifted right out to Foegele, right on the edge of the blue paint, and he hammered a shot from close range that Shesterkin got a blocker on. But the rebound bounced out into the low slot, and because all the Rangers were pulled right back towards their own goal line by the pressing Oilers, Barrie had all kinds of space to come in and collect the puck and fire a perfect shot top corner. And I just thought that whole sequence, other than McLeod missing the net, which meant they had to do it a second time to get their goal, but really it was textbook hockey.
It was a nice goal, Bruce. Matthias Janmark made a couple nice passes in that whole sequence of joy.
Sure did.
The virtuous cycle, as we call it, and that was one of the most virtuous cycles we saw all season long. Bruce, my good thing are the power play goals, and they were both, just the kind of spectacular plays on the power play that has this historic power play scoring at such a high clip. The first one, Draisaitl wins a puck. And wins a puck on the boards and then puts it back down to McDavid over to Nugent Hopkins, who sifts it into Hyman. Hyman gets 2 monster chances in front of the net, and the rebound goes to Nuge, who puts it in. I mean, this power play is what a joy to behold it is. The skilled players, their point scoring really reflects they're just having all career seasons. Maybe not Draisaitl is the only one who might not be having a career season in terms of points. He's coming close though. He's close, and Hyman and Nuge are, I've remarked on this before how unusual it is for players at their age, 29 and 30, to have career years, but they're both doing it. And I was remarking to my wife actually that at even strength, Zach Hyman may be their best performer this year.
He's got the most points.
He is just crushing it. He's strong defensively, and he's a monster on the attack. How he was not in the All-Star game is one of the great mysteries. Like he should be on the All-Star team this year in the NHL. Like he's got a chance of being on an All-Star team. I'd have to look at the other wingers but he should be on the running just because he's of his physical and defensive play as well. He's a two-way player and he's crushing it. The next one was McDavid made a nice low high pass, as I call it, from behind the net out to the high slot. It got tipped a little bit though, but Leon's shot was absolutely brilliant. And if you watch Leon on this play, his eyes are up the whole time. He sees that spot. He sees the mesh. He sees where he's got to shoot it to score. And he just drives that puck right into that spot. And there's no stopping it. There's no stopping Leon's shot when you give him that kind of time. Of course, on the shootout, he kind of had that kind of time, but it's a little bit different situation.
Where was that shot in the shootout?
Well, yeah, anyway, that's a different issue. It was in a game where Leon is going to take a lot of criticism. He's already taking criticism for his defensive play. That criticism is justified. That was a brilliant bit of skill, and it's why Leon Draisaitl is one of the best players in the world on the attack.
Yeah, it wasn't the executioner shot that we saw last game, and that the pass was deflected, so the timing of the play should have been messed up, and yet he was still able to pounce on it and just bam, right inside the far post, hit the Sakic spot, just sort of one net cord inside the right post, stick side post, and maybe a little higher than the Sakic spot, close to halfway up the net, but just perfectly placed. And so, and the power play, of course, was also out there for another goal, David, but unfortunately the other team got that one. So that was a critical mistake with a 4-1 lead, the power play to get burned like that.
It really was. You're leading the game and you let that happen to you. Like, oh God. Okay, Bruce, is that your bad thing, or you want to go with that? Or what is your bad thing?
My bad thing, and I'm going to single out today Ken Holland for my bad thing. He, after weeks of hemming and hawing whether and when to bring back Kyler Yamamoto, and knowing he had a couple of options of how he could do it, he decided to bring him back tonight against the Rangers. Well, I don't disagree with the idea that Yamamoto should have brought an injection of two-way acumen to the Oilers' second line, which was kind of desperately needing it. The fact is that the solution that Holland chose was to drop two players down to the minor leagues and cut his roster to 20 players. So 20 players, no margin for error. He did that this morning, David. This afternoon, apparently, one of his players that was left, Clean Costin, came down with the flu bug. Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise. The whole team has been riddled with flu for ages. Why would he be making this move now? And that's my beef. Like, hold Yamamoto out another game or two, so at least you have one spare player. The Oilers had to play this entire game a player short, and it showed.
Couldn't they recall?
I thought they looked tired in the third period. I really did.
Did they actually send those guys to the minors? I thought they would hang around in Edmonton. Did
they
not recall the Holloway just before the game?
They assigned them to the minors. Where they actually go between now and, I don't know. Like,
but couldn't we just recall? I guess they have.
They can't recall him because there's no cap space.
No cap space, yeah.
Because he put Yamamoto's $3.1 million on the roster, and in the end, Yamamoto's presence basically. They lost possibility of Desharnais. I think they really could have used in this game, to be quite honest. And Holloway, and when Costin got hurt, or got sick, I guess it is. And I just question the timing. Why would you go with a 20-man roster at a time that the flu bug is rippling through your team? We've heard it game after game. Players missing the game because of flu, players missing practice because of flu, players, their game time decisions, so on and so on. Now, this is a good time to go to a 20-man roster then. Well, it actually wasn't, Ken. And this is why, and I think Holland gets a lot of bad raps for some sort of little smart things that he does around the edges. This wasn't one of them. So,
Bruce, I really agree, and it's for a slightly different reason. I just think the Oilers need Vincent Desharnais in the lineup right now. He has been the difference maker on the PK since he's been in the lineup. He's played it very well. He stops a lot of stuff in front of the net. He takes up a lot of space on his side of the ice, so they can't operate. The other team just has a much more difficult time with that big seaweed monster operating there, getting through to the net. And they really have missed him the last 2 games. And I understand the previous game was he was sick himself, and maybe he's still sick. So I don't know about that. Maybe he was not even available to play in this game, and maybe that's why such a move was made. But man, they missed him, Bruce. And I agree. Like, they got to figure this out. They got to do something because they need Vincent Desharnais in the lineup, and it's as simple as that. He is a key member of this team. He gives this defense something that is otherwise lacking, which is a big, tough physical presence in front of the net on the right side. Darnell Nurse provides that on the left side, but they could really use Vincent Desharnais, and they've missed him. My bad thing, Bruce, is this game starts to get out of hand, I feel, in the final minutes of the second period. And the Oilers, through the second period, they had given up let me just see here. They gave up a shorthanded goal in the second, early in the second, or early in the second. So that's a bad moment. Early in the second, you have a 4-1 lead and you give up a shorthanded goal. So you can't have any more defensive breakdowns, but you have a 2-goal lead heading into the third period as the clock's winding down. And with 2.5 minutes left, so in these final 3 minutes, there's 2 absolutely terrible shifts by the Oilers that lead to 5 alarm shots for the New York Rangers. And it's a lack of effort. It's a lack of focus. It's a lack of intensity on defense. And really, it's not excusable. At this point of the season, you're up at this point, 4-2. You want to get to the third period with a 2-goal lead, which they did. But man, it was
thanks to
Jack Campbell had to, the one play, Chittel or Heidel or whatever his name is. Heedle, not Shafid. His shot. How did he miss that shot? He hit him right in the face. And what was the next? Okay, but anyway, the first one. The first one, it's McLeod's line is out there. He's out there with Derek Ryan, and Derek Ryan, through this play, the New York Rangers are cycling around, and Derek Ryan is in the F1 spot. He's playing center, and the Oilers just get discombobulated at one point, and Ryan shifts out. He shifts away from his spot, and he kind of tries to cover down low when he really doesn't have to do that, and everything gets out of sync because of that. And there's a pass across the top of the slot area, and then McLeod and Ceci are unable to cut the pass, a diagonal pass down low beside the crease where there's an absolutely. Is that the Heidel shot on this one? I can't remember. See, anyway, there's a
barrage, David. It's hard to remember.
Yeah, there was one great glove save, and there was a Heidel shot. So it's one or the other. Anyway, there's a great shot right from in close, and Campbell makes a spectacular save. The next one, the Oilers have possession of the puck, and it's being advanced out of their zone. And Yamamoto tries a little tip to Leon Draisaitl, who goes charging up the ice, and the puck doesn't get out. And Yamamoto and Ceci and Nurse are down low, but there's 4 Rangers with them attacking. And Leon, who's flown by the play, might be excusable to do that. He doesn't move. He just stops and watches from then on in. And as the Rangers go in and get another 5-alarm shot, and Kane tries to recover and he doesn't do it. The Rangers, Nurse and Yamamoto are unable to cut out the pass. Ceci's unable to cut out a pass, and the Rangers get another 5-alarm shot right in front of the net. And it's just not acceptable to have these kind of defensive mistakes. Leon's got to get back or not fly by. And the other guys, each of them lost their battles as well on that play. And it really, to give up 2 5-alarm chances in the final minutes of the second period when you have that kind of lead, what's going on with this team?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they doing that? Like, I understand it's going to happen now and then, and I wouldn't mention this if it wasn't kind of the narrative of the season, if we hadn't seen this repeatedly, this kind of defensive malfeasance when they've got a lead. And I was just worried the whole third period when Leon's line was out there, and his line in the end didn't turn out to be the line that got beat. It was McLeod's line when they were out there, when he was out there. But he's got to do better. His line's got to do better. Yamamoto came back, and usually he's a solid glue player on that line. He will fill in for the other players on defense.
Mm-hmm.
He was discombobulated tonight. He did not have a good game. He wasn't filling, and he was actually playing a pretty aggressive offensive game, and trying to get involved there. I guess he's trying to get inside their equipment. He's hearing from the coaches, aggressively forecheck, but he's really at his best when he's doing that, but also covering the defensive slot, and he does that a lot with Leon, which is why I think one of the reasons Leon likes to play with him. Yamamoto's a smart defensive hockey player. Not tonight though,
no.
And Kane has not been playing well defensively since in the last few games either. So if this is going to be a line,
not since he's been back.
I mean, the McDavid line with Hyman and Nugent Hopkins was dangerous all night. It is a fantastic line. But this line, if it's going to be a second line, all three of them have got to get together and decide we are not going to play that way. We're going to play smart, sound, fundamental, focused, intense defensive hockey, and they're not going to get 5 alarm shots when we're out on the ice. Your number.
Yeah, I'm tempted to go right to 7 after my 6 overtime losses in a row last game, but it's so recent that people probably still remember it, at least regular listeners, and thanks for listening. So I won't say 7, even though it's burning at me that this should never happen to this team. I saw someone on Twitter say they should have a practice tomorrow and do nothing but shootouts for the entire practice because they have not been good at them. Here's my number. I just found it, and it's 2. And 2 is the number of shots that Edmonton Oilers got on net during 15 minutes and 8 seconds that Connor McDavid was on the ice at even strength. 2 shots. I got a shot 5-2. And I'm not saying McDavid had a bad game. I'm just saying that line did not penetrate. The Rangers just did whatever to keep them on the outside. They had 9 shot attempts to 10. But 3 of them were blocked and 4 of them missed the net. 2 of them. And this is, when McDavid's on the ice. So this is his whole line. And usually they're driving the Oilers at even strength. And this was a game, even in the first period when it was 4-1, I said prophetically to my wife, 4 is not going to be enough to win this game. They still need to keep it coming. And the offense they had a couple of little nice bursts in the second period. And then the third period, it was like, where is it? And then they came on in the overtime. Of course, that's not 5-on-5. This is 5-on-5 strictly. 3-on-3, they had some good chances. And Jacob Trouba got very lucky with the stick a couple times in the overtime. And Shesterkin, I thought was the key decision in this game was Gerard Gallant deciding not to pull Shesterkin after a 4-goal first period. So
yeah.
And he was pretty much fantastic the rest of the game. But, I mean, fantastic against, the Rangers certainly carried the flow of play, and Jack Campbell had to be more fantastic than Shesterkin in terms of sensational saves in this game.
So McDavid he made a major contribution to 10 grade A shots, but 6 of those were on the power play, and 2 of those were in overtime. So he just had 2 major contributions to grade A shots.
Mm-hmm. Well, they only had 2 shots.
They both were, at least they were both grade A shots, which is not bad. I mean, there's something to be said about that. But and McDavid also had a bad line change with like 3 minutes left. Him and Nuge go off the ice, and it's like a odd man rush for the and Leon came on the ice. That wasn't Leon's fault coming on late, and because he couldn't come out before then, and the Rangers had a grade A shot right then. So it's
David did make a fantastic defensive play in this game, where he came back and stripped the puck off of a guy. Some of the forwards had individual defensive plays, but the defensive structure leaves me a little cold, and this is now, since the Oilers had 17 games of 12 out of 17 with 2 goals or fewer. They played 4 games and they've given in 17 goals, 3, 6, 4, and 4, and that's not counting the shootout goals because they're not goals.
Well, my number, Bruce, I was gonna give the shot shares of the Draisaitl line tonight, but I think I've said enough. Just you can accept that the Draisaitl shot
3,
share.
4, and 13 against. You don't think that's good?
But I'm not going to have it as my number. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I didn't think that was good.
I just slipped it in as your number for you.
Sweet, thanks. I'm going to go with my number is 555. So as bad as the Oilers, like the Oilers have not been great in the last 5 games in terms of, they've been leaking points, giving up points that they should have won and giving up games that they should have won. And it may come back to haunt them. But at least they have a .598 winning percentage, Bruce. So in the wild card race, the Oilers at .598 winning percentage, and that gives them 67 points. Fortunately, the Flames have been worse this year, and they've been one of the real disappointing teams in the NHL. There is 555. Yeah, for Flames. 555 winning percentage, and they have 61 points, and with 11 loser points, the Oilers only have 7 loser points. So the Oilers have 67 points, the Flames 61. The Flames are within striking distance of Edmonton. They have a game in hand, but they don't show really any serious signs yet of turning things around. And I guess Jonathan Huberdeau's agent, what's that guy's name? Watt? I think his name. What's the controversy? Walsh. Alan Walsh. Put out a tweet criticizing the Flames' effort and then negativity around the team. So hopefully they're going to go into full meltdown. We'll see what happens there. But the Oilers are lucky in that even though they haven't been getting all the points that are on the table, they're doing well enough to stay ahead of Calgary. So in the wild card race, the only team, like Nashville's at 538, so they're really not that likely going to catch the Oilers. They're 11 points behind the Oilers, but they do have 4 games in hand. So it looks like if any team's going to catch Calgary, it's going to be, or Edmonton, it's going to be Calgary. And
there's only really 9 teams there at the moment, by my count.
Yeah, I agree, Bruce.
So
it's looking good for the Oilers making the playoffs, but they got to get Desharnais back in the lineup. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, he was playing so well, and I know he's just the 7th defenseman, but sometimes that 7th defenseman, if he's doing something really, really important that no one else can do, that's an important player on your.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he has been a big surprise, and he's taken some of the load off of some of the other right defensemen.
Yeah.
Oilers' third pairing tonight, they were on the run a little bit. Well, it was such an odd game, and,
sure was.
There were some good moments for these guys as well. Evan Bouchard with a couple of really great nifty passes, and Broberg with a terrific defensive play where he stopped a guy trying to go around him and then took him right into the net, took the net off. These guys show flashes, but Rangers had them under the gun a little bit.
They seem to be playing pretty tough competition. I mean, the Rangers have tough competition, right? Because they've got 3 good lines. So there's no hiding out on that ice. I noticed Broberg and Bouchard against like Panarin a few times. So that's you got your hands full when you're up against Artemi. What a fantastic player he is. The Rangers are a fantastic team. I actually quite like this team. They're full of skill, as you can see from their shootout lineup, right? Like I
like them for the cup, Dave, and I do. I think this team's got a real shot. When I say I just mean I see they got a real shot at it. And there are players. Adam Fox, a terrific player. They added Tarasenko, just they need another sniper. I mean, we saw Chris Kreider tonight, and scoring on the power play and shorthanded, and driving the net all night. And seemed like every time New York got the puck in their own end, there'd be one pass out to center, and it would either be hitting, typically it'd be Panarin on the sidewall getting this pass and coming in on the, with options. And they really move the puck with purpose and authority when they do get it, and they're quick on the counterattack, and they showed that a few times, including that shorty, of course. So
yeah.
So back to those shot shares for a minute. So what we've arrived at here is that because McDavid and Draisaitl, I don't think they played together tonight at all, 5-on-5. 16 minutes for Leon. The Oilers had 3 shots. 15 minutes for Connor. The Oilers had 2 shots. So that's half the game. with one or the other of their superstars on the ice. The Oilers had 5 total shots on net in that half of the game, 5-on-5 part of the game, and that's not good. And then the Ryan McLeod, the Oilers were on for 10 shots in his 14 minutes. So that's where the majority of their shots and one of their even strength goals came from. Of course, was that line, McLeod,
he may be the most
7 shot attempts, 4 shots, 2 hits, 2 takeaways, 10 and 3 on the face-off dot tonight. Ryan McLeod. No, that's a good game.
He may be the most underrated Oiler this year, Bruce.
Statistically, that's a good game. Yeah.
I think he's played tremendously, and when you look at the number of grade A shots he creates as opposed to what he gives up, major mistakes, he's got a fantastic ratio, and he is a very good player. I think I don't think they need a third line center going into the playoffs. It's not their number one need. I don't know what it is. I mean, we won't even talk about that right now. But he's been playing very well, and that line played very well. That was a good line. So
yeah, I mean, a 5-on-5. The power play scored 2 of the goals, and the 5-on-5 goals came from Barrie, which was the McLeod line, and then the other one was the Derek Ryan goal, his 10th of the year, from Hyman and Puljujarvi. And anyway, I won't be surprised if tomorrow morning we find that they decide that Puljujarvi is on waivers, because they decide they need that extra body around. So maybe getting burned and having to play a man short the very first game, the very same day that they sent the 2 guys out, they had to go shorthanded. That maybe Holland will take a different path. We'll see.
It's interesting. It's hard to know what's going on with Puljujarvi. Like, do they not want to put him on waivers in case he doesn't get claimed? Do they not want to have everyone see that he has no value in a trade? Is that it, or are they afraid of losing him because they he's good forward depth, and if you can keep him, all the better. It's a mystery what's going on with this player. It's been I wouldn't be surprised either, Bruce, because I think they need to get Desharnais back in the lineup, and Holloway's been playing well also. So it's not that I don't like Jesse Puljujarvi and I wish him well, but I think he's better off in another city, and it's
got the yips around the net. It's just unreal. He had another great chance tonight and just kind of muffed it wide. And
was that deflected by someone's stick, though? Maybe
the stick got in there, but I don't think it ever touched the puck. But it may have distracted him.
He shows no sign of breaking out of his goal-scoring slump. I think it's safe to say. I mean, he did have that one really nice goal last week, so he might take that as a sign. But yeah,
it's just in tight to the net. That's where he should be getting the majority of his goals, and he's just got nothing in there. I have no explanation.
With Costin and Holloway and Janmark playing well and Yamamoto back, I'd like to see Holloway get a little bit more of a chance in the top 9 this season.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
So. Flashes a lot of skill. He hits. If he can hold his own defensively, he might be able to help the Oilers. So, well, Bruce,
very dynamic player for sure, and I think good days lie ahead. I'm just not sure they're necessarily in the current season.
With young forwards, I mean, I just think they can break out at any time, right? It's a matter of confidence in a way. Like he's a winger, so there's not a lot of. It's just anyway. We'll see what happens. Bruce, let's leave it there. Thanks for talking tonight.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.